Hello, BookTube.
Hi, BookTube.
As you can see, I have a guest. My friend David Murphy is in town for a long weekend. And you'll never guess the first thing we did. The literal first thing we did. We went and got books. Tons and tons of books, even though I don't need any more books. And everything you get has to be shipped.
Yeah. Yep, that's tomorrow.
It's just insane. Absolutely insane. But we went back to the used book superstore in Burlington, Massachusetts. And I don't think the staff there even thinks to ask us if we want bags. They just ask if we want boxes. So we each got a box full of books. And as usual, like we did the last few times, I don't know how many of you remember that. You may have blotted out any videos featuring David. I don't blame you.
No, I don't blame you either. I blocked them out too.
We didn't look at what each other bought. So this will be the first time. This will be a lot of fun, I think. And it looks like we got about the same number.
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
So you're the guest. You should start.
I guess I should start. Well, from the top, I have Divine Comedy. I know. I was going to move it so you can see it later. I knew in the car I lost that bet.
I told him in the car I would be willing to bet that at least one of the books you got has the word Hitler in the title. For those of you who are new to the channel, David is a bit of a World War II buff.
A bit. Well, hell, okay.
You might as well. Let's just start with it.
I got the Hitler soldiers, the German army, and the Third Reich. I haven't read this, and I'm not familiar with the author either, Ben Shepherd.
It's really good.
It is good? Yeah. Okay, I'm glad. So that'll be fascinating.
There's also a really good review of it out there online.
Oh, really?
Look and see it.
So I'm excited to read this. I'll be curious what he does. I mean, the cliche is, the German war machine, but that hides the fact that it was largely, horse-drawn for some of the war, too.
You weren't taking the sticker off just out of neatness. He was taking the sticker off because it was besmirching the Eagles. You go and show them the emblem on the back there. There you go. There you go. BookTube Uber Alles.
At least this one doesn't have a swastika.
I don't know that I have any Nazi stuff this time around. What can I? Okay. There's like this. Did not know that this existed. The folks at Titan Books did not ever tell me that this existed. This is a 30th anniversary hardcover edition of Anno Dracula by Kim Newman, with an introduction by Neil Gaiman and sprayed edges there and a built-in bookmark. And the thing that sold me on it, a little short story of Kim Newman set in his Anno Dracula world. I love this book. I love all of its sequels. I love all the short stories around it. It's a Dracula novel like no other. It's a Dracula novel that takes as its premise that Bram Stoker's Dracula is a work of fiction. Not because Bram Stoker made up Dracula, but because he made up a version of the story of Dracula in which Dracula loses. In the premise of this book, Bram Stoker's novel is known. It's Samizdat passed from hand to hand as forbidden literature because Dracula did not lose. He succeeded in filling them with vampires. And I love it. I love the book. I did not know that this hardcover existed, so I had to get it.
That's a great find. I would have grabbed that if I saw it.
Yeah, this was the book that I got after I found David and solemnly said, "I'm done." And then I found another book.
Yeah, we weren't done. Yeah.
And there is the author in his creepy outfit there, which I had occasion to run that picture because a long time ago I did an interview with Kim Newman. Pretty perfect example of the interviewer's nightmare, where you ask a question and the interviewer says yes, no. I man at work, but it wasn't easy.
Then what I was going to hold up before is just the Longfellow translation of the Inferno.
Look at that.
I don't have any complete volume.
Does that have the Dore illustrations? Oh, it does. Oh my God. Oh, this is the version I have in the little book room. The translation by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the very first American translation with Gustave Doré illustrations.
I wanted to get this when it came out, but I didn't want to pay for it, so I saw it there for $9.98. So.
I don't have anything Tony like that. Well, I have this. This is The Persian War by William Shepard, in which he looks at the war between Greece and Persia through the eyes of Thucydides and Herodotus and a whole bunch of other people, and through the eyes of archaeology as well. So, just the whole thing, only without the you are there vibes of the ancient Greeks. I don't think I've ever read this book. So I grabbed it right away when I saw it. These goodies.
Yes. We will go through the biography. This is Thomas Jefferson, An Intimate History by Fawn Brodie. I've read a couple biographies of Jefferson. I didn't really like any of the ones I read. And I asked you if this was good, and you said so.
It's very
so I don't know if
readable.
there's something more you could say about
It's, of course,
but-
infamous because it's the one that broke into the broader consciousness the idea that Jefferson had descendants with that he raped his slave, Sally Hemings. Which, of course, that relationship has been romanticized to hell and gone. There was even a novel about 6 years ago that I really, really liked that romanticized it to hell and gone, but a slave cannot give consent. So we shouldn't be talking about Thomas Jefferson loving Sally Hemings. But the biography is really good anyway. I mean, it's great on that topic, but it was controversial for that reason. Let's see here. Well, I have something I can blame BookTube for, Joe Spivey. I found a trade paperback of The Information by Martin Amis. I think Joe Spivey just recently mentioned this particular novel to me, but on his channel, Joe Spivey, a lot of you will know, these clearance items, they say 99 cents, but they were 69 cents, which is incredible. And by sheer coincidence, when we walked into the used book superstore, the Summer of '69 was playing on the radio that they blast over the whole of the warehouse. Ordinarily, the radio station or whatever that they tune into is just awful. It's just Magic Man by heart on infinite repeat. But not only was Summer of '69 is fairly good. I hate the song. I hate the lyrics, where the narrator is saying that when I was a high school senior was the highlight of my whole life, and everything's been downhill from there. Shoot yourself, then why don't you? But it's a pretty good song despite the lyrics. I'm the only nerd who's going to hate a song for the lyrics. But amazingly, after a minute, Fat Bottom Girls by Queen came on. Not just a Queen song, one of the greatest ones of them all, and totally forbidden to do in the era of healthy at all sides positivity. I loved it. I was grinning for 5 minutes after it was over. But on Joe Spivey's channel, he has mentioned many times that Martin Amis ushered him into literacy. Not A, B's, and C's, but you know what I mean. Loving literacy, loving books. And that, like most people, I'd imagine, he then turned around and thought, okay, well, you're almost a one-trick pony. I'm grateful to you, but I'm not going to venerate you just because of that. God knows we wouldn't want to do that, would we, you Stephen King fans? We wouldn't want to turn a blind eye to the faults of an author just because you owe them a lot, would we? But anyway, I agree with that stance completely, but it does make me kind of want to look back at Martin Amis and see a lot of my critical brethren at the time were breathless in praise of him. And his is a critical career that I literally watched it born, I watched it ascend, I watched it go. So, for 69 cents, it was worth it. It was worth it for 69 cents.
I got halfway through the Information, I gave up on it, and I gave up on Amos.
Really? And it was the Information that did it?
Yeah,
oh.
I couldn't do it. Yeah.
See, this is what we get for not sharing what we're buying in the store.
Well, a few of these will go together. Actually, there is, believe it or not, some fiction in here.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Good Lord, you got all three.
Yeah, I got Greg Isles.
Look at this.
And I've been meaning to read him forever. I've seen him at library book sales, never grabbed him. See him at the bookstore, never grab him. And I saw these for cheap. Two of these were on the clearance rack.
The whole of it for $10.
Yeah, I got the whole of it. Not even $10. Yeah. So.
Well, just because I'm sure that everyone at the used book superstore thought that we were a couple. Certainly everybody at what was that place we went to? Bed Bath & Beyond? No, it wasn't Bed Bath & Beyond. What was it called? The big box store that we went to.
Target?
Yeah, we were squabbling in the aisles over our shopping list, so it wasn't really hard to put two and two together. But since we have that vibe going on, I might as well. I also got Greg Isles. I got Cemetery Road in hardcover with the nice deckled edges there, and I got a mass market of Natchez Burning. I had this. I might still have a copy of this, but I was trying to remember if I did, and I just recently, on the library tour that I'm trying to do on this channel, I just recently did all the mass market paperbacks, and Natchez Burning did not come out, so maybe I don't have a copy, so I got one. They were dirt cheap, so we both got Greg Isles.
Yeah. More World War II. I guess this is a nice floppy paperback of A Bridge Too Far by Cornelius Ryan, which is fantastic. Also a pretty good movie.
Oh, it's a wonderful.
It's fantastic. Well, I think there'll be clips of that later.
Yep. We're going to do 5, 6, 7 hours. However long the mortal can stay awake is how long we'll do clips. But we're going to do tons of clips. Most of them are going to be John Wayne. Most of them are going to be the same John Wayne, just over and over again to fill your hands. But we may have room for, I'm sorry, but we cannot possibly accept your surrender. Or Maximilian Schell, flatten R9. But anyway, it's a terrific book. Cornelius Ryan is so good as a narrative historian. I would say, it's a shame that nobody knows about him, but he is in the Library of America. So
yeah, I think he's known.
He is known.
His book on Berlin is good too.
And A Bridge Too Far has entered into the common parlance.
Yeah.
It's, all right. Well, I don't know. I got just a cheap mass market paperback, The Mote in God's Eye, Larry Niven, Jerry Pournelle. It was 69 cents, so I lose all molecular cohesion when a book is that cheap, and it's a science fiction minor classic, so I grabbed it. I have a bunch of science fiction mass markets. I'll get to it. For oh no, it won't be Rocket Summer because Mote in God's Eye is too late. Rocket Summer cuts off in 1970. Yeah, this is 1974. Oh well, I'll still read it. I did get a candidate. Rocket Summer is a BookTube event coming up in July. David is a once-a-year uploader, so he will probably not be joining us for Rocket Summer. And there are no Keynesian effects in Rocket Summer either. The only von Mises is an overlord of an alien planet. But it's science fiction written before 1970, and I do have a candidate. I'm pretty sure I have a candidate for that this time around.
I only have a few left because some of them are quite big.
Oh yeah, I should go on again.
Yeah.
Okay, I found a Penguin Classic of Sentimental Education by Flaubert. I love this novel. This is in perfect condition. Couldn't remember when I saw it if I had this. I'm always up for getting a Penguin trade paperback. I found a trade paperback of the second volume in Edmund Morris's trilogy about Theodore Roosevelt. This is the middle volume. This is Roosevelt in Power as President. And the title is taken from the quip that went around the comics and the News Corps, and also his rather vocal sub-class of dissenters, Henry Adams and his crew. It dubbed him this when he was in office because Theodore Roosevelt said, if the Constitution doesn't say that I have a power, then I say I do. And that, believe it or not, in this era of executive overreach, that seems like nothing. But that seemed like the end of the world to people in Roosevelt's day. In Roosevelt's day, people in Washington and all around the country thought the president is mostly a ceremonial type thing. It's the chief clerk of the Senate. He's not a king. He doesn't have the ability to tell anybody what to do. And this is terrific reading. I really think this trilogy is the best of Edmund Morris. I kind of wanted the hardcover with the deckled edges, but I'll take this for $1 or whatever it was. Should I keep going?
I'll do a couple, I guess. So here I
you got a Penguin Classic as well?
I did, yeah, the portable Arthur Miller.
We finish each other's sentences. I'm glad that you thought the juice was worth the squeeze.
I'm still hearing about my last visit.
Yes. And when we were at what was the name of the gigantic wine store that we went to?
We went to a Total Wine.
Total Wine was the name, but you have to see it to believe it. It was just unbelievable. And I kept thinking in my head that if any of the concierges there were going to ask what we were looking for, David was going to say, do you have anything that will block out for sure all memories of the evening that's to come?
All the gin you have.
Yes, please.
Like the Rod Johnson. You heard a lot of gin. So all the gin you have.
Do you have anything that's specifically keyed to High School Musical? We go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. And then I found a Viking Portable, Chekhov.
You will soon have them all.
I will soon have them all.
There was only one that I wanted today that I actually looked for because I just read a novel about Machiavelli, and I wanted the Viking Portable Machiavelli, which is the only popular version that you will get of 9/10 of the stuff that's in there. It has all of the prints, but it also has tons of letters. It has the Mandragora. It has a ton of things that you won't find anywhere else, and I didn't see it.
I want to find the old Viking Portable Bible. I think I have the newer copy of it, but I love the older one. The newer one's pretty cool.
Oh, this was my gamble. I'm hoping
I'm hoping this pays off. This is Kipling. This is a selection. This is a 2-volume set. Who is this? Doubleday. And the other one, I think I hauled here in one of my first visits out.
I think that's true.
Yeah, and it's got this blue cover. They're both quite lovely. But it's this paper dust jacket. And these stickers are no joke.
Yeah,
you would think a
everything.
Bookstore of all places would know better than that.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about it tearing as I peel it up. But we'll try.
I will apply a gentle, patient I'll try not to leave a mark.
Not on the face of the dust jacket.
It's like you said, these jokes just write themselves. Oh, hey, here is my Rocket Summer candidate. This is another ace double. So you have the mass market paperback you start with The Trouble with Tycho, and this is by Clifford Seamack, Sean E. Standfast's favorite author. But then you flip it over and you have another science fiction novel. This is Bring Back Yesterday by A. Bertram Chandler, and I am guessing that both of these qualify for Rocket Summer. Bring Back Yesterday is 1961, and Sean would know off the top of his head. 1961. Trouble with Tycho is 1961. So this counts, and it will die for Rocket Summer. I will kill it when I read it. Should I keep going? Yeah, I've only got a couple of them. I found this thing. Great big anthology volume. I found a couple of really good anthology volumes. But this one is for an ongoing BookTube event, June on the Range. I found a great collection of classic westerns. Canterbury Classics. This is all in faux leather with a raised cover there. And the neatest thing about it is it's got all the usual suspect. It's got The Virginian by Owen Wister and a Zane Grey novel. This is The Lone Star Ranger and also The Mysterious Rider. So we double dip on Zane Grey. And we double dip on Max Brand with The Gunman's Reckoning and The Untamed. I guess they couldn't afford Louis L'Amour, or maybe they brought out a volume of their own. But the wonderful thing here is that in addition to those, in this classic Western volume, you also get O Pioneers by Willa Cather. It's just awesome. That is just awesome. So, she's the lone filly in the table of contents and is writing all these other guys under the table. I may use this as a chance to reread O Pioneers. I haven't reread it in forever. What a coot it would be to reread it in this format. And I also found another anthology, a Jules Verne anthology, also from Fall River, the same people that did that Divine Comedy. A ton of Jules Verne, 1,000 pages, but as light as a feather. They use super lightweight materials here, and yet these books are pretty strong. So this has 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, of course, with the famous squid. 5 Weeks in a Balloon, Journey to the Center of the Earth, From the Earth to the Moon, Round the Moon, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Around the World in 80 Days. So you've got a couple of things in there that you don't usually get in a Jules Verne anthology of any kind. That's wonderful. That draws me right to them.
Okay, we'll go.
Oh my God.
Yes, more. This is Soldier, Sailor, Frogman Spy, Airman, Gangster, Kill or Die, about D-Day. I remember when this came out, I also wanted to get this and never did. I don't know. I didn't even read many reviews about it, so I don't know if you liked it when you read it.
I did. I liked it, but oh my. Yeah. You know more about the subject than the author does. But you must be familiar with that. You read a lot of pop economics books where it's a weird feeling. Not all of you will have ever had it, but it's a weird feeling when you read a book and in a chapter I know more about this subject than the author does. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stop reading, but you're going to be fishing around for, are you stumbling backwards onto something that I didn't think about or whatnot? You must encounter that all the time.
And especially with economics, what you notice is what's not there. If when you crawl into the footnotes, it's like, oh, have you not even read that? The obvious thing to say here, mention here, would be this.
Right.
We don't even seem to.
I think you're going to have that reaction.
That happens a lot. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, my favorite book on D-Day, or at least Omaha, is probably Peter Caddick Adams' The Dead and Those About to Die, so I tend to compare a lot to that book.
Well, it's not even in terms of research. That's also beautifully written. He's got a really elegant
he's fantastic.
Prose style, and you're not going to find that there. But you might still like it. It's got a lot of energy. Okay, I found a YA novel. There were tons of YA novels. I found a YA novel there that I liked. Actually, this is the paperback, so I might be blurbed on this thing. No, this is all trade journal. Okay, this is by Tommy Wallach. I love his stuff. Just love it. And this is We All Looked Up. This is a group of young teenage students who, like everybody else in the world, know that a gigantic killer asteroid is headed for Earth. What do you do if that's true? Things start to break down. The conclusion, one element of the conclusion here is, I think, totally unnecessarily, just gratuitously gory. But a lot of the rest of it is really well done. I really enjoyed this. I think I praised it. I think I wrote a review and praised it. So I hadn't seen it in forever. I found Shakespeare. I found the Pelican Shakespeare. It's a big, floppy trade paperback. I have many, many collected Shakespeares, but I don't have this one. And nothing at the use.
That's what I have at home.
You have this one?
Yeah, that's what I go to all the time. No, I have the paperback too.
I'll be interested. Of course, when you get something like this, the first thing I do is just sink myself into the introductions and the notes and whatnot. Not so much read a play this way. I probably will, but not so much read a play this way as just to see what kind of tone this thing is going to take with Shakespeare just in general.
Okay. Just because one of you said before that there are other wars. I got nothing but victory. The Army of the Tennessee.
It's such a good book.
Okay, I'm good because I don't know anything about this or this author, and I just based on reading a little bit of it in the back, I grabbed it. So
that was a good pick.
Good.
Oh no! Oh, who's that at the bottom of your box? Well, I guess it's great writing. The next book, I was thinking of what's his name. But it's great writing. So, well, we're finishing up on completely different notes here. My last book is Wonder Woman. It's called Destiny Calling, and it you've got Wonder Woman, you've got George Perez's name right up there, and then a whole bunch of names of other people. I was looking at it, I don't remember this thing in comic shops. It's an anthology of Wonder Woman comics reprinted. Of course, George Perez is going to be in here because he reinvented the character, but there are a lot of other people in here too. Do I have a list of people? Yeah. Art Adams, Brian Boland, John Bolton, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and the one who's covered here by the sticker is Kurt Swan. And those are all great artists. And that isn't what the Wonder Woman comic book was like in the 90s. Art Adams was too expensive. If George Perez was your regular monthly artist, you weren't going to spring from Michael Bolton or George Perez or Kurt Swan. So somebody had to go through here and find those issues and put them all together in this volume. And I don't have any of this run of George Perez. George Perez's Wonder Woman, which is one of the best realizations of the character, who's known for bad realizations. I don't have any of these things anymore. So I don't know what this is, but it was 69 cents, so I grabbed it.
And then my last book, maybe I shouldn't have ended on this, but it's Flexner's George Washington. And I haven't read this either. Another founding father who I have a hard time finding biographies of I like, but this is in totally perfect condition. It seems like it's brand new.
And Flexner's great. This is as long as you don't believe him about Washington, you can believe him about everybody else. Just don't believe him about Washington. At no point, at any point where the decision could go either way, he will always come down on Washington's side. Even when the documentation does not allow for that. Happens over and over again. It happens over again with Washington biographers just in general. But Flexner really, really lays it on thick. But he's wonderful to read. Just wonderful. And of course, this is one of 4 volumes or 5 volumes that he did, and then he abridged those all into one volume, The Indispensable Man, which is terrific. But the individual volumes, he researched them like crazy.
So is Washington like, I don't know, Churchill or Lincoln, where you've had better luck with keyhole histories, maybe?
Usually, yeah, although with Washington's case, the keyhole histories are even worse.
Oh, okay.
Washington, loving husband. Washington, the gentleman warrior. Oh, my God. Washington, the first president, leader of men. If you at least here, Washington was surrounded by professionals. Even if a couple of those professionals ended up turning on the country, he was still surrounded by professionals, men who knew what they were doing.
Yeah, this volume is in the American Revolution. I don't think I said that. Yeah.
Whereas the earlier volume, it's Washington out there in the wilderness,
starting
bungling
a war
from one thing to another.
Yeah.
And if a biographer worships him and follows him into the French-Canadian wilderness, you know most of what you're getting is going to be crêpe Suzette. but not here, because here you've got to square it with whip-smart youngsters like Alexander Hamilton. You've got to square it with seasoned warriors like Charles Lee. You've got to square it with them. You can't just say it was all him, all by himself. That George Washington, how does it go? That Franklin smote the ground and out popped George Washington, fully grown, on his horse. And the 3 of them, Washington, Franklin, and the horse, conducted the entire revolution by themselves. And Franklin pauses and says, I like it.
Okay, we'll be watching that too.
Yeah, yes, indeed. But anyway, that's it. That was our used book superstore haul. Where we...
That's as much a feature when I come over as the Brattle now.
Yeah.
Last couple times, I just came, met you, picked you up,
straight
and we
out
left. It was just...
I love it because I can't get there any other way. This is a place that there's no public transportation. So if you don't have a car, you're not going to get there. And I don't have a But it's a great place on its own. Friendly staff, happy customers, staff, a good turnover of books.
I can only imagine if you lived over there, you could go every day. Yeah.
I want a copy of Nothing But Victory. I want a copy of that. Speaking of the Brattle, I should probably give them a call. But anyway, that's it. On the way there, we hit a raucous thunderstorm. Yeah. But it was gone by the time we got to the store. That is predicted to come here later tonight. And when we were done with the used book superstore, David very nicely ferried me around to get a whole bunch of stuff at stores that I don't get to because I don't have a car. And my surly houseboy doesn't know how to drive. So
yeah, we did Target, Total Wine, and Best Buy.
It's wonderful. Yeah. Just wonderful. Tons of stuff.
And a small Target, too. Yeah.
He says it's small.
I want to take him to like a Costco or something.
I don't go to big box stores because I don't have a car. But this what was it called? Target. This Target is huge. And he says it's small. Can't imagine that, but it was wonderful. And he also, when we got back here, Frida screamed at David, and then David did a whole bunch of stuff. Just practical stuff. Put in the air conditioner, sweep, assemble the David Murphy Memorial Cot. So now we're going to relax.
Yeah, then we sit down and I'm the butt of the jokes.
Yes.
After all that.
Yes.
Should have left you in the rain.
But I'm hoping that by the end of the night, you will consider that the juice was worth the squeeze. The gayest turn of phrase I have ever heard, and I didn't utter it. I'm expecting that later in the night.
Ordinary idiom.
No, it's not. No one has ever said it before.
Not in Provincetown, no.
Not in Provincetown.
I think is when I said it.
Yes. Oh, God. Later in the night, it could get worse. You never know.
It's not going to get better.
No, it's not going to get better. But we might put in producers' clips.
The newer, the older version.
The third act has got to go. They're losing the war. It's so depressing. I never knew that the Third Reich was Germany. This thing is positively dripping with historical goodies like that. We might watch some Roger Debris scenes. I'm so sick of these shows. Turn 2-3, kick 2-3. It makes me want to vomit. And then what's the first idea he has for Springtime Riddler? It needs a little bit of dance number. So turn 2-3, kick 2-3. Anyway, that's later. That will not be filmed. So we may have another book haul tomorrow. But in the meantime,
yeah, we don't have anything set in stone. So
nothing set in stone. One thing that hasn't come up in all of this is the Brattle. Is it possible that you're going to come here and not go to the Brattle?
Well, we should probably go.
We'll figure it out tomorrow.
We could hit a couple places. Maybe we could go to Harvard. Hit that bookstore. Yeah.
We'll figure it out tomorrow. No more logistics tonight. Just enjoyment tonight. Except that he's got to order food and navigate the apps, and then he's got to go and get it in the rain. He's got to bring it back and unpack it. But aside from that, I'm not doing anything else.
By about midnight, I should be able to
enjoy myself. By midnight, he'll be fine. You can all just line up on the left to come and visit. I know you all want to.
All the work's done.
Yes, all the work is done. It's true. But we'll be back. We'll film a video tomorrow. So I will wrap this up, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, BookTube.
Thank you, BookTube.